What's going on, friends? Welcome to College Sports Corner. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope it's beautiful where you are right now. We got a beautiful day, but it's supposed to start pouring rain tonight and then tomorrow. But at least we got Saturday down here. Got a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of news. Going to go over the bowl games on New Year's Day. Going to go over some basketball stuff, some of the major stuff that happened. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button there so you don't miss anything. Listen to it at work, act like you're working, just listen to it. It'll pass the time, I promise. All right, so let's get down to some new stuff here. First things, let's go over first. Tomorrow, the FCS Championship football game, North Dakota State versus South Dakota State, 1 p.m. on ABC. Should be a really good game. South Dakota State beat North Dakota State earlier in the year. Going to be a rematch, so that one should be pretty good. And then, of course, Monday night, TCU, Georgia for the FBS National Championship. We'll see if that's going to be a good one. A lot of people are still saying, TCU, they got lucky against Michigan. Georgia's going to kill them. Hey, you never know. I honestly thought that Michigan was going to beat them, but they didn't. So hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it's not a blowout on either side. All right, so let's get to some news here. Alabama's Bryce Young, he will enter the draft. Also, Will Anderson, the linebacker, and running back Jamar Gibbs, all from Alabama, entering the NFL draft. Clemson defensive lineman Byron Beese, he is entering the NFL draft also. Georgia tight end Darnell Washington, questionable versus TCU Monday night. They say it's an ankle problem, ankle injury. TCU star running back Keandre Miller, he's questionable versus Georgia. Lower body injury, whatever happened there, not sure. Sad news here. Legendary Texas baseball coach Cliff Gustafson, he passed away. He had 17 College World Series appearances, 2 national championships, runner-up 3 times. So a college baseball legend there passes away. Prayers to him and his family and all his former players and coaches. Legend. Another legend gone. Former Mississippi State running back Dylan Johnson, he will transfer to Washington. He's going to go up there to Seattle. Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel says he will return to Oklahoma next year. NCAA Division I Transformation Committee calls for bigger championship events, including possibly expanding the March Madness basketball tournament from 68 teams to as many as 90. I'm all for playoff expansion, especially in football. I'm just wondering if 90 is going to be too many. I'm against the whole 6-6 team football team getting a bowl game. So if we're going to have 500 teams getting into the playoff tourney, no. But it will allow teams to get in there that get left out that we're all saying, well, why weren't they in there? Of course, that's going to create another pocket over here of teams that we think should get into 90 but didn't. So, I don't know. I guess it's a big trade-off or whatever. We'll see what happens with it. Not sure if they're going to do that yet. I just hope, like I said, I hope we don't start getting 500 teams in the tourney. With 90 teams, that could possibly happen if they were going to expand it to, say, maybe 80. 75, 80, that probably wouldn't happen, but I don't know. This all remains to be seen if they're even going to do it. So just keep your eye open on that. Let's see. Former Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman does commit to Notre Dame. It's going to be interesting to see how he does there. Couple, me being an Aggie fan, a couple Texas A&M news items here. I'm just like, what? A&M Jimbo Fisher hired Bobby Petrino as the new OC. He was actually just hired by UNLV. He said, hey, thanks for hiring me, but no thanks, I'm going to A&M. So Bobby Petrino already starting his crap. Good coach, just things he does personally and stuff like that, it makes you go, well, what the hell's going on here? We all know about the Arkansas story. And then another one, A&M basketball team goes to Florida, plays Florida, end up forgetting the jerseys at the hotel. They get a technical for holding up the game. I think they won the game anyway, if I remember right. But yeah, proud A&M moments here. Texas, boy, I guess they said screw it, fired basketball coach Chris Beard after that assault he had back in December. I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend, but evidently some choking involved. Texas went ahead, I guess, after their investigation, said, all right, we're going to part ways with you. And they're doing good without him. So, I mean, they lost to Kansas State the other night, but they're still a good team. NCAA investigating Michigan and Jim Harbaugh recruiting violations during the COVID thing. So I've heard on the radio that Michigan was not truthful when first talking to the NCAA, so that's why they're launching this whole investigation. We'll see what happens there. Speaking of Michigan, remember the Michigan State brawl in the tunnel back in, what was that, October? Cornerback Corey Crump, one who swung his helmet at a Michigan player, had his felony dropped to misdemeanor. He'll be on probation. He'll stay out of jail as long as he gets through his probation just fine. So I guess maybe that was his first time to ever be in trouble. So maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer or anything. Rutgers is going to hire Minnesota's Kirk. See if I can say his name right. Probably not. Ciarrocca. Hey, that ain't too bad. Is their new offensive coordinator. Bama running back Trey Sanders. Did we mention that one? No. He transfers to TCU. South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer. He gets a contract extension. It will double his salary, which so they're happy about him. I think he's doing a good job there. A few more years, I think we'll really see where he's taking that program. 2, 3 maybe. But seems to be on the right track. I mean, I was always a fan of his father, Frank, over at Va Tech, and I've always been a fan of South Carolina. Shane Beamer starting to grow on me. See what happens here in the next couple of years. Illinois guard Sky Clark steps away from the basketball team. It just said for personal reasons. Really didn't dig into why. I mean, personal reasons. None of my business. I'm sure people out there want to know, but hey, ain't none of my business. So I'm just going to stay away from it. All right, let's get to some of these bowl games on New Year's Day before we get to basketball. The game a lot of people were talking about, the Relay Quest Bowl. People were going to wonder, Mississippi State playing, just lost Mike Leach. They ended up winning 19-10. Mississippi, they did a nice tribute. Stickers on the helmets, and the bands did something. Banners around the place. So it was a pretty nice tribute to Mike Leach there at the bowl game. Anyway, Mississippi State beat Illinois 19-10. Will Rogers for the Bulldogs, 29 for 44, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Price, 68 yards rushing. Robinson, 81 reception yards in the TD. Banks had a 60-yard fumble recovery for a TD as the time ran out. Biscardi, 2 field goals. For Illinois, DeVito, 23 for 34, 253 yards, ran for 35 yards and a touchdown. Williams, 114 receiving yards. Griffin, 52-yard field goal for them. No scoring in the first quarter. Then 7-3 at halftime. Illinois outscored Mississippi State 3-0 in the third. Almost like a baseball game or something. Mississippi State outscored Illinois 16-0 in the fourth, which is what did it. Both teams had great passing games. The rushing games, not so much. Mississippi State, 116 yards rushing. Illinois only 35. Whew, man. Mississippi State's defense, 7 sacks. Not too bad for that. They were 3 for 11 on third down. Citrus Bowl. This was going to be an interesting game. Purdue lost Jeff Brom. They lost a lot of other players. So you were wondering how they were going to do against LSU. Which LSU team would show up? Because we've seen all year, you see brilliant LSU football, and then you see, what the hell is that? Anyway, yeah, they showed up, beat Purdue 63-7. JT Daniels, 12 for 17, 139 yards, touchdown. Ran for 67 yards. Caught a touchdown pass on a trick play that was pretty good. Nussmeier, he also played 11 for 15, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, threw an interception. Kane had 2 rushing touchdowns. Emory Jr. and Davis Jr. rushing touchdown eaches. Neighbors, 163 receiving yards and a touchdown. Neighbors has really turned it on this year. Booty was kind of in the background. Taylor had a TD catch. Thomas Jr. had a TD catch. Wilson had a 99-yard pick 6 in this one. Purdue's Alamia, the quarterback, threw a 16-yard touchdown for 16-yard touchdown pass to Sheffield. LSU had 10 more first downs than Purdue. Purdue was 4 for 18 on third down and 3 for 7 on fourth down. Defense had 4 sacks and forced 3 turnovers. LSU 594 total yards. Purdue ended up with 263. Cotton Bowl. This was one that was going to be interesting. Tulane's a good team. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Their quarterback Pratt, running back Spears, those two guys are just amazing. I think USC probably thought, hey, Tulane, we'll just show up and we'll win, no big deal. They almost did, but Tulane said no. Like Lee Corso says, they said, not so fast, my friend. USC had better numbers in this game and almost everything and still lost. Only by 1 point, but still, I think they took Tulane a little lightly and let Tulane score 46 points. Of course, USC's defense, I don't know what's going on with them. It's been atrocious this year. But anyway, Tulane beats USC by 1, 46-45. We just talked about their quarterback, Pratt, 8 for 17, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran for 83 yards. Spears, man, the running back. This guy's incredible. Hopefully the Houston Texans down the road are watching Tulane. Spears, 17 rushes, 205 yards, 4 touchdowns against that USC defense, which, like we said, hasn't been that good. Jackson had an 87-yard TD catch. Bowman had a TD catch. Jenkins scored a safety or made a safety happen. Kicker Ambrosia, 8 points on the day. Good for him. USC Williams, 37-52, 462 yards, 5 touchdowns, though. So, yeah, pretty good game. Did throw an interception. Brown, 61 yards, TD, rushing TD. Rice, 174 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns for the Trojans. Bynum and Jackson, third, had a touchdown catch each for USC. And their kicker, Lynch, responsible for 9 points. All right, so listen to the numbers on this game. First downs, USC had 29, Tulane 15. Third downs, USC was 11 for 15, Tulane was 3 for 8. Total plays, USC 84, Tulane 52. Crazy. USC 463 passing yards, 132 rushing yards, 595 total. Tulane 234 passing yards, 305 rushing yards, 539 total. Like I said, USC once again. I don't know what's up with that defense. Actually, a reporter asked Lincoln Riley about defense and the coordinator if there's going to be any changes the day of the game, after the game, and he said we're gonna sleep on it tonight or something like that. So special teams wasn't all that great either. So yeah, USC goes down. I think Caleb Williams even skipped the press conference. So hey, you don't prepare and take a team lightly. Sometimes these things happen. Rose Bowl was setting up to be a great game. And then for the second year in a row, Rising gets knocked out with an injury. Man, that game owes him, doesn't it? I mean, it happened last year against Ohio State. Happens this year against Penn State. That game owes Rising, man, because this is set up to be a really good game, and then that happened. Anyway, Penn State beats Utah 35-21. I actually thought Utah was going to win this game. I think they probably could have if Rising would have stayed in, even though Penn State played great. Penn State's Clifford, 16 for 22, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. Singleton, 7 rushes, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them, which was an 87-yard touchdown rush. I mean, from way back there. And, God, where was he at the Penn State? Great coverage. Penn State started at their own 5, somewhere between the 5 and the 10. He busted through the line on the right and just, man, incredible run. Lambert Smith, 3 catches, 124 yards and a touchdown, including an 88-yard touchdown catch. Tinsley, he had a touchdown catch too. For Utah, Rising was 18 for 21, 95 yards, touchdown, ran for 47 yards. Excuse me. And then he was knocked out with an injury. Man, that sucks for him. Like I said, that game owes him, second year in a row. Barnes came in, went 10 for 19, 112 yards, touchdown, threw an interception. Jackson had an 81 rushing touchdown. Vale, 100 yards receiving. Dixon, Yasmin had TD catches. Utah only scored in the fourth quarter in this game. So I think that kind of hurts them there. First downs. Penn State 14, Utah had 23. Third down, Penn State was 7 for 13. Utah was 11 for 19. PSU, Penn State's defense forced 2 turnovers in that one. Penn State, your Rose Bowl champions. All right, let's go back to basketball. Like I said, with all the football going on, this is just kind of like an abbreviated of big things that happened. So, go back to Sunday. 9-6 UMBC loses to 7-8 Vermont, 74-61. Cornell, these records and these rankings are on the day the game happened. I know lots changed since then. Back on Sunday, Cornell 11-3 after beating Dartmouth 74-63. Indiana State was 11-4 after beating Valparaiso 68-50. Providence 12-3 beat DePaul 74-59. Carter for Providence 22 points, 4 rebounds. Providence led this game by 15 at halftime. Cincy was 10-5. Cincinnati lost to 8-7 Temple 70-61. 7-7 Missouri State beat 11-4 Drake 52-49. 6-9 Washington State beat 11-4 USC by 10 points. 8-5 Michigan beat 10-4 Maryland 81-46. Maryland only scored 13 points in the first half. Long was their leading scorer with 9 points. Ugh, that ain't gonna get it done. Southern Illinois was 11-4 after beating Belmont 63-45. 8-5 Tulane beat 11-4 Memphis 96-89. James for Tulane, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. But on Memphis side, Davis, he had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. So those guys had great games. Penn State 11-3 beat 8-6 Iowa 83-79. Pickett for Penn State 26 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. But Murray for Iowa, he had a great game, 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. Number 11 UCLA 13-2 beat Washington 74-49. Bona had 18 points for the Bruins. Ohio State 10-3 beat Northwestern 10-3, 73-57. Sensabaugh for Ohio State, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Going to Monday, 10-3 American beat Loyola Maryland, 71-55. O'Neal for American, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Kennesaw State moved to 10-5 after beating Eastern Kentucky, 79-75. 11-4 Liberty beat Lipscomb, 77-48. 10-4 Rutgers, 65. Number 1, 13-1 Purdue, 64. Mackay for Rutgers, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Ide for Purdue, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Rutgers led by 10 at halftime. Purdue outscored Rutgers by 9 in the second half and still lost. Spencer for Rutgers hit a 3-pointer with 13 seconds left to win the game for them. So they take down number 1. Congratulations to them. 9-5 Oklahoma State, 67. 10-4 West Virginia, 60. Thompson for the Cowboys, 15 points. He was the leading scorer. Stevenson for the Mountaineers, 17 points, 4 rebounds. It took overtime for 12-3 Florida Gulf Coast to beat Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas, 5-10. Okay, going down to Tuesday. 12-4 Marquette, 96. 11-5 St. John's, 85. St. John's led by 7 at halftime. Marquette's Prosper, 29 points, 7 rebounds. Soriano for St. John's, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Followed by Adiwasu, 21 points in that one. 10-4 Ball State beat 9-5 Toledo, 90-83. Coleman had 26 points for Ball State. 10-5 Syracuse beat Louisville, 70-69. Gerard III, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Number 8, 12-2 Tennessee beat 11-3 Mississippi State, 87-53. Vescave for Tennessee, 14 points, 3 rebounds. Phillips and Ziegler had 11 points each for the Volunteers. For the Bulldogs, Stevenson led the way with 15 points. followed by Smith and Hamilton, who had 9 points each. 10-4, Michigan State beat Nebraska 74-56. Walker had 21 points for the Spartans. 11-3, Kent State beat Western Michigan 80-72. 10-4, Kentucky beat 12-2 LSU 74-71. Toppin for the Wildcats, 21 points. Williams for LSU led the way with 23 points. Great game that I watched. 13-1, number 3 Kansas beat 10-4 Texas Tech in Lubbock by 3. Great game. Texas Tech actually led by 8 at one point in this game. Kept hanging around. I mean, they almost won. They just gave Kansas fits. So they just wouldn't go away. Kansas Harris Jr., 18 points. Adams Jr. and Wilson had 14 points each. For Tech, Obenor, 26 points, 7 rebounds. Isaacs behind him at 18 points, and he hit 4 3-pointers in that one. Kansas, that win ends Texas Tech's 29 home game win streak. So Texas Tech got Oklahoma today. That might be a pretty good one later on. At the same time, I didn't watch this one because I was watching Texas Tech, Kansas. 13-1, Kansas State goes into Austin and beats number 6, 12-2 Texas, 116-103. Noel for Kansas State, 36 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. Not too bad. Followed by Johnson, who had 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. It was Hunter for Texas, 29 points. Carr behind him, 27 points. And Rice, he came in off the bench, 16 points for the Longhorns. Number 14, 11-2, Wisconsin beat 6-7 Minnesota, 63-60. Minnesota used to be pretty good at basketball. Wisconsin's Crowell, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Cooper from Minnesota, 16 points. Number 7, 12-2, Alabama beat Ole Miss 84-62. 11-4, Boise State beat 11-5, San Jose State 67-64. For Boise, Agbo, 15 points. For San Jose State, Moore, 22 points, 7 rebounds. 13-2, Utah State beat Air Force 77-65. They were up by 16 at halftime before they went on to that one. 11-4, Pitt beat number 11, 10-4, Virginia, 68-65. Henson, 16 points for Pitt. Clark for Virginia had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. 13-4, St. Mary's, 84. Academy of Art, 64. 6-8, Fresno State, 71. Number 21, 14-1, New Mexico, 67. Fresno got them. Moore for Fresno, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Mashburn Jr. for New Mexico, 22 points, 4 rebounds. Moving on to Wednesday, number 23, 15-1, Charlotte beat North Carolina A&T, 92-79. Bolin for Charleston, 22 points, 10 rebounds. But Woods for NC A&T, 30 points, so not too bad for him. 11-3, Georgia, 76. Number 22, 11-3, Auburn, 64. Auburn's got a big one tonight against Arkansas. I think that's at 7:30. I'll be watching that one. Georgia's Roberts, 26 points. Brome for Auburn, 22 points, 12 rebounds. 11-5, Furman beat the Citadel 97-72. 12-3, Fordham lost to 5-9, Rhode Island, 82-79. In that game, Martin for Rhode Island, 23 points. 12-4, North Carolina State, 84. Number 16, 11-4, Duke, 60. Smith for NC State, 24 points. Joyner behind him had 21 points. Burns came off the bench, 18 points for the Wolfpack. For Duke, it was Filipowski, 14 points, 8 rebounds. Number 25, 11-2, Iowa State beat 9-5 Oklahoma, 63-60. 11-5, Longwood beat Charleston Southern, 79-74. 8-6, Georgia Tech beat 13-2 Miami, 76-70. Georgia Tech's Terry, 24 points, season high for him. Kelly behind him had 20 points. Miller and O'Meara for Miami, 17 points each. 13-3, UNC Wilmington beat Albion, 81-66. White had 26 points, 7 rebounds in that game for UNC Wilmington. 9-5, Michigan beat 11-4 Penn State, 79-69. 11-5 Dayton beat St. Joseph's 76-56. Holmes the second, 20 points, 12 rebounds for Dayton. 11-4 Central Florida beat 10-6 East Carolina 64-61. Kelly for UCF had 30 points in that game. 12-4 Duquesne beat 10-5 VCU 79 to where's the score? Anyway, they beat them. 11-5 Stephen F. Austin beat New Mexico State 69-60. 12-4 Southern Illinois beat Domask. No, beat Drake. They beat Drake. Domask was the player. Beat Drake 53-49, and Drake was 11-5. Domask for Southern Illinois, 21 points, 8 rebounds. Wilkins for Drake, he had 14 points. 12-4 Indiana State beat Illinois 76-67. Number 13, 12-2 Arkansas beat number 20, 12-2 Missouri 74-68. Arkansas's Council the fourth, 25 points, 7 rebounds. Pinion came in off the bench, 13 points. For Missouri, Honor, 12 points. East to second, 13 points when he came in off the bench. 13-3 Providence beat number 4, 14-2 UConn, 73-61. Hopkins for Providence, 27 points, 5 rebounds. Hawkins for UConn, 15 points, 6 rebounds. 12-3 Clemson beat 11-4 Virginia Tech, 68-65. Tyson for Clemson, 13 points, 14 rebounds. Vatex Basel, 17 points, 7 rebounds. 11-3 Northwestern beat 9-5 Illinois, 73-60. It's hard to believe Illinois is 9-5. Adigi for Northwestern, 21 points. Number 17, 13-1 TCU beat number 19, 10-4 Baylor, 88-87. TCU's Miles Jr. had 33 points. George for Baylor, 27 points, 6 rebounds. 10-5 North Carolina beat 10-5 Wake Forest, 88-79. Davis for North Carolina, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Baycott behind him, 21 points, 9 rebounds. Wake Forest is Monsanto, 17 points, 7 rebounds. 13-3 Nevada beat Colorado State, 80-69. And that was it for Wednesday. For Thursday, UMass Lowell hit 14-2 after beating Maine, 72-70. 11-4 Rutgers, 64. 10-5 Maryland, 50. McCoy for Rutgers, 15 points. Young for Maryland, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Queens College, 12-4 after beating Bellarmine, 75-74. 10-6 UMBC beat Albany, 92-83. It took overtime for an 11-3 American to beat a 5-11 Holy Cross team, 73-68. 10-5 Bryant lost to 8-8 Vermont by 10 points. 11-4 Charlotte lost to 7-7 FIU, 62-60. Charlotte's Jones had 20 points, 8 rebounds in that one. 12-4 Liberty, 75. Jacksonville State, 41. Wow. Liberty led by 25 points at halftime in this one. 10-6 Georgia Southern beat 17-4 Marshall, 81-76. Saroso for Georgia Southern, 18 points in that one. Number 1, 14-1 Purdue beat number 24, 10-4 Ohio State, 71-69. Smith for Purdue, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Eddie, 16 points, 11 rebounds for Purdue. For Ohio State, Sensabaugh, 21 points, 5 rebounds. Sewing, 15 points, 4 rebounds. Youngstown State, 11-5 after beating Robert Morse, 78-56. Number 2, 15-1 Houston beat 6-9 SMU, 87-53. Walker for Houston, 23 points, 10 rebounds. For SMU, Odaiji, 14 points, 5 rebounds. 11-5 James Madison lost to 8-8 Texas State by 1 point. 11-5 SIUE beat 9-7 Tennessee State, 81-72. 13-1 Florida Atlantic beat 12-3 UAB by 2, 88-86. God, get this. Florida Atlantic, Davis came off the bench, 36 points, 6 rebounds. 18 points of those were in the first half. 11 for 17, hit 4 3-pointers. I'm guessing the starters just didn't do much for the Owls in that one. I mean, you come off the bench and score 36 points. Good Lord. Walker for UAB, 21 points. He was their leading scorer. 11-5, Purdue Fort Wayne beat Green Bay, 79-69. Overtime, 11-4, Grand Canyon beat Harrison, 72, or beat Sam Houston, who's 11-4, 72-68. 11-4, Seattle beat UT Rio Grande Valley, 66-64. 12-6, St. Thomas, Minnesota beat 10-7 Denver by 10 points. 7-9, Austin Peay beat 12-4 Florida Gulf Coast, 61-59. 9-6, La Tech beat 11-4 Rice, 88-82. Rice's Evie did have 28 points in that game, but they still lost. 11-4 Louisiana, 75. 13-3 Southern Miss, 61. Garnett for Louisiana, 20 points. He was 7 for 10, 6 for 8 beyond the arc. 12-4 Utah Valley beat UT Arlington, 72-64. 12-3 Arizona State beat 6-10 Washington State, 77-71. Arizona State's Washington at 18 points. Rodman for Washington State, 16 points, 12 rebounds. 11-5 Cincinnati beat 7-8 Wichita State, 70-61. Davenport for Cincinnati, 22 points, and that was off the bench. So once again, starters, I don't know. 9-6 Iowa, 91. Number 15, 10-4 Indiana, 89. Murray for Iowa, again, 30 points. It's like I'm trying to do this every game. 30 points, 10 rebounds. Behind him, Rebraca, 19 points, 10 rebounds. Indiana's Jackson Davis, though, he had 30 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. And Hood Schifino followed him up with 21 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists for Indiana. 12-3 North Texas beat Western Kentucky, 70-66. Perry had 22 points for North Texas. 10-6 Colorado beat Oregon, 68-41. Da Silva for Colorado, 30 points, 7 rebounds. Finishing up Thursday, number 10, 14-2 UCLA beat 11-5 USC, 60-58. Got that rivalry going. UCLA, Clark, 15 points, 5 assists. Dixon Waters for USC, 16 points, 4 rebounds. And UCLA actually blew an 18-point lead in the second half, but still won. So, 12-3 Hawaii. Hawaii's doing good. Beat UC San Diego, 62-49. 12-4 Utah, 79. Oregon State, 60. Carlson for Utah, 27 points, 11 rebounds. Billadou for Oregon State, 11 points, 3 rebounds off the bench. Again, what's going on with the starters in these games? 14-4 Santa Clara beat Pepperdine, 89-79. 12-5 Loyola Marymount beat 12-6 BYU, 64-59. Leopep for Loyola Marymount, 15 points, 4 rebounds. He was leading scorer. For BYU, Troy and George, 13 points each. They were the leading scorers. Number 9, 13-3 Gonzaga beat 11-7 San Francisco, 77-75. Boltan for Gonzaga, 21 points. San Fran Roberts, 18 points, 5 rebounds. Number 5, 14-1 Arizona beat 9-7 Washington, 70-67. Tubelis for Arizona, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Brooks Jr. and Bajima for Washington, 16 points each. That brings us to Friday. We had a few notes here. Oh, man, I got heartburn. Breakfast tacos this morning at the little Mexican joint over here. Good, but oh man, need some Rolaids after that. Friday, Toledo moved to 10-5 after beating Western Michigan, 102-74. 5-11 Dartmouth beat 10-5 Yale, 81-77. Took overtime for 10-6 Harvard to beat Brown, 70-68. 11-4 Iona beat Marist, 84-57. Cornell moved to 12-3 after beating Penn, 88-69. Princeton 11-4 now after beating Columbia, 68-49. 11-5 Quinnipiac beat Rider, 72-63. Rider was actually winning the game at halftime too by 5 points. Siena 10-5 after beating St. Peter's by 10 points. 11-4 Ball State beat Akron 70-63. But Freeman from Akron, though, he did have 23 points, 14 rebounds. Still lost, though. I don't know if they call this game the Battle of the Axe in basketball. They do in football, but Cal played Stanford. Cal won 92-70. Both teams are way under 500. I just mentioned it because it's a rivalry game. But Clayton from Cal did have 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. So that does it. Games are fixing to start. Some good ones today. Really looking forward to that Arkansas-Auburn game tonight. That one should be pretty good. Remember, probably there's games tomorrow too, but remember tomorrow, FCS football championship game, Battle of the Dakotas should be a good game. And then, of course, Monday we got the FBS National Championship game for the glorified Christmas Story leg lamp. I'm telling you, all that trophy needs is a little skirt on top. It'll just be a glorified Christmas. Do better. Bring back the crystal football or something. Come on. I mean, that's got to be one of the lamest trophies. So, I don't know who came up with it, but the crystal football looks so much better in a trophy case than a big old golden leg. So, I don't know. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the weekend. We will be back, I think, Thursday. Go over everything that happened. Go over these football championship games. Go over any basketball stuff, the big basketball stuff that happened. And then after that, we will be right back into full basketball till baseball starts, next month? Anyway, be safe. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.